You want me to stop sharing, Sheila?
Yes, please. Okay. Well, just to get the meeting started, because it's 6 p.m., I just want to, do our normal opening by starting with a small prayer. And as I'm doing this, I'll be doing a few other things. Hi, Ms. Rogers. So I'm going to start with a small prayer just to, get our hearts and minds ready for our evening. Okay. So if we can bow our heads, or however you pray, we'll start. So, Heavenly Family up above, we thank you so much for this day. A warm, a beautiful, a loving and wonderful day, which was your way of sending love to us so that we could show love to one another. As a group and as organizers and people that are in your army to do the work that is necessary to keep us all going forward, right now we want to just thank you for the ability for us to come together again, one more month into the 21st year of 2000, just to be able to say thank you for all the things that you've done for us from 2020 all the way up to this present day. Tonight, we would like that your blessings, your mercy, your grace, and your love will be all a part of what it is that we're doing going forward, and that we will be able to share with one another the informations, the interest, and whatever it is that's needed for the people who are your children, as we are, in need of things that some of us cannot have today. So right now, we just want to just give our time to thank you for all things, everything. In the name of Emmanuel, your son, and lovingly from all of us, we thank you. Amen.
Amen.
So, welcome, welcome, welcome. I just want to start off. My name is Sheila Green. I'll be your host this evening. And welcome to Parkside Business and Community and Partnership. This is our April community meeting, which we have every month. So we welcome you to let you know that we are a 501c3, a nonprofit organization that's working to empower the residents of Parkside with the knowledge needed to stand strong together. Our invited guests are unpaid speakers who wanted to serve our residents with empowering information to make sure that they go forward with the things that they need in their lives to help them have a stronger and happier life. We welcome our guests this evening. And we're going to start off with, just a welcome of our guests. We have Angela. Angela, say your last name for me.
Galetta Wynn.
Galetta Wynn.
Galetta
She
Wynn.
is Galetta Wynn. She's from Horizon, New Jersey. We also have, yes, we have Rich Brenner. He is from Rich Brenner and Associates. We have a guest tonight from American Water. I see Joey Rodriguez. How are you? We have our CEO, Bridget Pfeiffer, our vice chair of our board of trustees, that's Tasha Gainey Humphreys. And we have a few other guests, Miss Pat Rogers, I see Yvette, and Miss Cynthia Madison so far. So just want to start off by opening this to see if Bridget is available, because we wanted to let her go first tonight. Let's see where she is. There she is.
I'm here.
Hey,
I'm here. Hi.
There you are. So Bridget is driving, guys.
Partially see me.
Yeah. I can see you a little bit, but that's okay if we don't see you. Are you still driving?
Yeah, I'm driving, so this is the best I can do for now. But
that's fine. That's fine. As long as we can hear you, that's fine.
So do you want to pull up the presentation now, or do you want to just talk about?
Sure. Let me find it. I did a lot of work to try to make sure I could get this presentation. Hold on. All right. It is. I am sharing. Okay, we're going to share screen. We're going to open And amazing.
Yes.
So there it
All
is.
right.
Okay.
So good evening, everyone. As Sheila mentioned, my name is Bridget Pfeiffer. I'm the CEO of Parkside Business, local community development corporation that's trying to do some wonderful things to uplift and empower and just build a better future for we have some
Okay.
tremendous assets that are in the
There we go.
community as well. To enhance that. And as a part of our process of achieving that goal, back in 2016, we engaged in a neighborhood planning process that at that time included well over 600, 700 residents about possibilities, just talking about the vision, just talking about what are the programs, initiatives, projects that would really be needed to create a better, a more thriving community. And so in that neighborhood planning process, we engaged a consultant who was an urban planner, really to help us create a document. And we use it as our blueprint. And that blueprint that has been decided, we had discussions that was really led by the residents of the community, really is the blueprint to help us drive and kind of navigate to the end goal of, of a higher, more elevated community that we all can feel a lot of pride in and about. And so Sheila can talk to you about, her process. This is really how she became engaged with the organization. Sheila, serving on the board, had just left Senate, and was thinking, she really wanted to commit herself to something that was more local and something that was right where she lives. And I'm like, you know what? Come join us. Come join us. This is what I'm thinking. This is where I think we can be. 3 to 5 years from now. But before we can get there, we have to engage the community. We have to empower the community to have a voice in this process. And so, Sheila, I don't know what you want to share in terms of that process for you, but
So I'm gonna try to keep it short, but it's a lengthy situation. So as Bridget said, I came in. I started out as just a resident. I came to Parkside to live. I thought it was the right place to do everything, the right place to eat, play, work, live, do whatever. It was one of those communities that I had always admired growing up, and I lived all around parts of Camden, as a child and a young person growing up. But then I got to Parkside and found out about PBCIP. I came in, like I said, as just a resident, to observe what was going on. I got kind of like, pulled in to be part of their board because I was working for the U.S. Senate at the time. With the U.S. Senate comes a lot of information, a lot of talents, and you get a lot of ability to get to know people. How better to bring this into the community by way of, using it to help a community that was striving to help itself. Fast forward to about maybe 2014, 2015, PBCIP started to make changes. And I, as a board member, saw that, they needed other bodies to help do things. I also wanted to learn the insides of how PBCIP worked. So I started, volunteering my time to go in to help do the things that they needed to be done. Then 2016 rolled around. We've got this ginormous grant from Wells Fargo Regional Foundation to get us started on the neighborhood plan. Now, mind you, I had no idea what a neighborhood plan was, even though I worked in the Senate, because I wasn't working on a local level, I was working on a federal level. But I learned very fast. So what we ended up doing was going through the neighborhood. I hired a team. of local people, young people, high school, college, working class, non-working class, it didn't matter. Trained them on what it was that we needed to do, did assessments of all of the properties that was in the Parkside area to show whether they were good, bad, or poor. We did that, and then we went door to door, with surveys, asking questions about what they wanted from the Parkside neighborhood as neighbors. From there, we were awarded, I think that was in 2015. So in 2016, if I'm not mistaken, Bridget, we were awarded a $1.4 million.
Yeah, so it was 2017 when we completed our
yes.
neighborhood planning process. And we then in turn submitted a grant for consideration for a implementation grant through the Wells Fargo Regional Foundation. And we were the first organization to actually receive their collaborative grant. We received the largest grant in the history of the foundation at $1.25 million. But I think what's really important, the funding is great, the investment is wonderful, but I think it's really important to, kind of grasp the idea that this process included the community, led by the community, and, it was managed by folks from the community. And so we always want to maintain a real connection and keep our hands and, pulse on people and what's happening in the neighborhood. So that's really central to who we are. And
so with that being said,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So we have a presentation that we'd like to share with you tonight on the Parkside Neighborhood Plan Update, which Bridget will walk you through. I will help her. She's driving, so if she should happen to go in and out, I'll just pick up wherever she left off, and we'll just keep moving. Okay?
Guess what? My phone just dropped, so I don't know what you guys are seeing right now.
I'll start. So
okay.
we have the Parkside Neighborhood Plan Update. As you can see, it says new initiatives and updates on the 2020 plan update, as everything must change. The 27 Go ahead.
Yeah, so let me just say one thing about that. We completed the process in 2017, but when we were moving towards getting the plan approved by local government, by the planning board, because ultimately we want the plan to be included as a part of the city's master plan. So it's not overlooked. So, really the voices are heard, not just at a local, meaning community level, but heard by, local government, county government, across the board. So when we went to get the approval and present the plan for the planning board approval, we were told that there were some modifications that needed to be made to the document. And specifically, the one modification, and really the only modification, was that we needed to change out the boundaries that we had identified for the plan. So it's on you now, Sheila.
Okay. So the project update is showing the 2017 neighborhood revitalization plan to the 2020 plan update, which incorporated major new initiatives, gathering new information to put the plan in action, and keeping the focus on the community priorities and new resources to support development, neighborhood services, education, and healthy living and sustainability. Our major changes and study areas from 2017 to 2020 shows that it was basically like taking certain areas out and then making sure that the Parkside area was actually covered. Our new initiatives in the development, we have new initiatives in development. So do you want to speak on that first, Bridge? Okay. So the new initiatives in development is Parkside Place 1 and 2, which will be located at the end of Hatton Avenue, right there across from Lourdes Virtual Hospital. We are also looking at a 10-unit project of new homes to be built in the Parkside neighborhoods of Princess Avenue, the 1500 block Princess Avenue, and the 1200 block of Empire Avenue. We are also looking at having CamCare raise a new building, or not, it's better yet, build a new building at the former Renew site that is right across the street from Donkey's on Haddon Avenue, which would be ideal for the Parkside community to have a health center right in the middle of our neighborhoods, so that our residents will be able to have the kind of primary care that they need, instead of running to emergency rooms for everything. We now are looking at new initiatives in Greenway and Arts, which is the Euclid Avenue Trail, a new connection for walking and biking, because people are doing more biking now, and COVID has taught us that, you know, you don't need a car for everything. So it does have its options or its benefits to show, you know, that we can utilize trails for biking and walking. Our arts incubator, which is the Parkside Pavilion, at 1366 Haddon Avenue, was basically put there for the simple fact that, you know, the arts is one of the most important parts of Camden. Camden is what you could say a sight and sound city. What you see, what you hear. If you live in Camden or around a lot of Camdenites, as we are, you will see that people are either in their music, or they're in their dance, or they're in their artistry in some shape, form, or fashion. So having an arts incubator at 1366, so where we could have different types of businesses, you know, occupy this place. This used to be the old, it's at least two histories on it. One history is that it used to be the Sanatorium, and then it became Local 222, where the local labor union was using it for their base. And it stayed empty for years and years and years. And the partners and PVCIP came together, you know, purchased the building, they rehabbed the building and turned it into an arts incubator. It's currently being really upgraded right now due to a flooding that happened in late December, early January, because of some back issues with sewers and things of that nature, but we're going to take care of that. Another new initiative is education. Through Purpose-Built Communities, a program to help Parkside achieve education and equality, they came together and brought us a new idea for the Cooper B. Hatch School, which has been serving in two capacities lately, as the middle school for students grades 6 through 8, and high school, Camden High School, that had to be closed and rebuilt. So you had grades 9 through 12, if I'm not mistaken. They want to explore the possibilities of having the K through 8 and STEAM-focused program education there, changing the whole facade of the building on the outside to make it more aesthetically friendly and inviting, as the new Camden High University, as it may be called, will be sitting on the hill where the old Camden High sat, and having something right down the road that's going to be just as well, if not better, for our students to have something to have pride to go to. New initiatives, open space and healthy living, our roots to prevention. Our Roots to Prevention is a program that has been ongoing for over maybe 8 to 10 years now, with Jonathan Whitstein at the helm to guide them, you know, under the direction of Bridget Pfeiffer. Roots to Prevention is basically...
Yeah, recently we've developed a number of relationships and kind of created this collaborative team that's working to really think through and figure out how to really create food, the growing of food as an economy, a local economy that can support residents in the city of Camden. And then also through partnerships with Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield, and specifically through Virtua Lords, you know, how can we script? How can we look at food as medicine, and, you know, creating initiatives around that idea. And so, you know, these are initiatives that are embedded in the neighborhood plan, and there are many others. And I think the real, the point that we would like to make tonight, and the rallying cry that you will hear for the next couple of weeks, is that the plan has gone before our planning director, Dr. Williams. He has not noted any issues with the plan. So therefore, the plan will be going before the planning board on May 13th for review, and my hope is for approval. And so we need for community residents, we need for allies, we need for partners, we need for collaborators to show up with us on May 13th at 6 p.m. to give a resounding, yes, we support it as this plan again is presented before the planning board. So I'm hoping Ms. Rogers, I'm hoping Tasha Gainey, of course you'll be there, but let's bring all of our friends, neighbors to that day, to that process, to that conversation, so that it's known that you support new development, you support new opportunities in the community. So that's it.
So that's where we are right now. So as you can see in the last of the slides, our finalization of the neighborhood plan and adopt the plan into the master plan, which is why we need your help when we go to our zoning board meetings, because we want to show that the community is behind what we're doing for them. And the more people we have involved, the better. So we will send out information. It'll be on Zoom. You'll do it the same way you're doing this. And we're going to be able to, you know, share the information. So you'll see it right there. You'll see the whole process, how it's going to happen. And you'll be a part of it. You'll be involved in it. You'll be empowered to show that this is what you want to do, you know. So as we go forward, you know, I want to just, you know, throw my little PSA in there right now. How to get involved is through becoming a PBCIP member, becoming a Pride Network captain, a block captain. That's what we're calling it now. And making sure that people around you are empowered with the information that we have tonight. When you go back to your own, your friend circle, tell them that there's going to be a community meeting that's going to happen, that's going to involve the zoning of our neighborhood plan, and you should join us that day. And we're going to send it out. It's going to be on Instagram, Facebook, flyers are going to go out, and everybody is welcome to join us. So as you can see, our thank you is, if you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to email us at parksidemedia@pbcip.org, and we will contact you, you know, momentarily. So we thank you so very much. And, you know, we just wanted you to know that that's where we are. Parkside Business and Community in Partnership is fighting hard for Parkside all the way through from the time that we started. I think our hardest year was last year. But we're still here, and we're very grateful to the Almighty for all the things that we've been able to do to help our neighborhood rise up. You know, Camden's rising, but we want to be the part that rises even further. So, you know, we don't want to leave anything and anyone behind. If one rises, all should rise. But, you know, Parkside has always had its own shining star within itself. And we want our neighborhood and all of our neighbors that's part of our neighborhood to be a part of that. So, Bridge, if there's anything else?
That's it for me. Thank you all. And so sorry for, you know, my current driving status. But Sheila, take it over from here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Take care. Be safe, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. So from there, and we're on point, which is pretty good. I want to introduce Angela and Rich, who are going to talk to you about something. Now, I'm going to introduce it this way. This is the way that I learned it. Richard and Angela came to us a while ago with information that told our seniors that were Medicare, Medicaid eligible, that were in certain incomes, that they were eligible for things that they didn't even know they were eligible for. And it's a lot of caregivers that may be on this call, and it may be a lot of caregivers that you know about. So this is information that you should be able to take back to caregivers that you know about. It should be information that you should be able to share with your family and friends. So that way they will have the same information to be able to go forward and be able to, like, you know, make the quality of life for the seniors better. So I don't know who wants to start first, Rich or Angela?
Well, I'll start.
Hi.
Go ahead.
We just need the sharing to let me see. Okay, here it is. Tell me
There you
if you
go.
guys can
Very
see this.
good.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk about this. Good afternoon, and thanks for spending the time on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. There's programs that are out there, and we're going to talk about them today. That is no cost to you. It's government sponsored. There's no commission. There's no anything. There's what's called a closed caption telephone. Under Title IV of the ADA rules, you're allowed to get a free caption telephone put in and installed in your house for free. As you can see on the screen, there's a choice of a couple of different ones, but it's for people as we age and we don't hear as well. You can be able to read as well as hear somebody talking to you. The phone is 50% louder, so it's a speakerphone. There's no cost to long distance. There's no cost per month. There's no cost at all. All you have to do, and we'll put the phone number up if you slide it down a little bit more. This phone number, and I'll put it in the chat box, 202-277-8671. You call them up. The guy's name's Jamie. You call them up. It's in Washington, D.C. that it originates from. Call that number. All you need is to have the internet and a home phone, and that'll qualify you in order to get it. So then slide down a little bit more, and there's a sheet that you'll fill out. If you call him, he'll get that sheet to you. Basically says if you have any type of hearing loss at all, physician, nurse, audiologist, somebody says that your hearing's a little bit off, you can get it for free. It doesn't cost anything, and it's something that's really good. Shout out to Elizabeth. Hi. We got her a phone, and it works really well. So I'll put that phone number, the 202-277-8671, in the chat box. So you'll have that number, and I'll put it in there right now. And there. Oh, I can't do it because Angela stopped. Okay. Anyway, I'll get it in the chat box. But that's the number, 202-277-8671. It's 100% free. The second thing I wanted to talk about is my mom is 86 years old, and she needed a stair chair to climb up the chairs. Well, we explored and found out that typically a one flight of stairs, if it's 6 steps or 10 steps or 12 steps, through Acorn or the people that are out there, are between $3,000 and $4,000. So my mom needed 3 sets of stairs done in her house. A quote was $12,200. My mom ended up getting 3 flights of stairs for $3,200. That's the stair lift. And when we talk about the program that Angela is going to go into now, if you qualify for this program, they'll actually install the chair lift either at a discount or for free. Right, Angela?
Yep.
All right. So that.
And we'll go over those benefits.
Yep. 267-640-6231. His name is Ken. They'll come out and evaluate it and then install it. So it's really something that's, if you need it, it's there. My mom was like, when you start getting older, you don't want to admit that you're getting old, but the stair chair, she didn't want to use it. We installed it today, and then I don't think she's ever going to not use it. And it's so easy. So it's just something that helps. And especially some of the homes that are in Camden and the way they're configured, it would help a lot of people out. So I just wanted to let you know about the closed caption phones and the stair chair. All right, Angela, over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you. My name's Angela Galetta-Wynn. I work for Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey. I've been with Horizon for 19 years in Medicare, so you can consider me your Medicare expert. We have partnered with Richard Brenner's group because he's a trusted insurance broker that we are partnering with because there's just not enough of us Horizon employees to get out there and talk about what is available for Medicare beneficiaries that have Medicaid. This is a vulnerable population and the most needy population. And a lot of times they are overlooked. So I'm very happy that Sheila invited us here, but to represent Horizon, and what PBCIP is doing for the community is amazing and in alignment with our goals and our mission. I always like to start off with a true story to get everybody engaged. I had the privilege of meeting one of our DSNP care managers out in the field. And we went to visit a gentleman that had the Horizon NJ Total Care Plan. He was a Medicare Medicaid beneficiary. And part of being on the plan is that you are evaluated by a care manager once every 90 days and a care plan is set up. So we went to his house. We were in Trenton. And I remember walking up the stairs to his home, and they were very steep. And I was winded just from walking up the stairs. Just to let you know, I work out on the Peloton every single day, and this really made me feel out of shape. So it was very dark, and it was a lot of boxes, and it was crowded in there, and we were sitting down, and as she was going through the evaluation, she was inquiring whether he's seeing his doctors and his physical therapist. And the answer was no. Even though he has free transportation by the plan, he hasn't been going. And she says, well, Mr. So-and-so, why haven't you been going? He said, well, I can't get up and down those stairs. And I was thinking to myself, like, I don't blame you, either can I. And she said, how about this? Why don't I get you a first floor apartment, and that way you will have better mobility and you'll be able to get out of the house. And his eyes, they lit up, and he said, really, you can do that for me? She said, of course. And he said, well, what about Section 8? Will it be Section 8? And she said, well, we don't have Section 8 open anymore. However, I will get you in a subsidized senior housing, and you'll be able to afford to pay because they go by your income. So we finished up the meeting, and I couldn't wait to get down to the stairs out of earshot from this gentleman because I was flabbergasted. When we went out to the street, I said, Michelle, how are you able to get him an apartment? We are just a health insurance company. We don't do this stuff. And she says, oh, no, yes, we do. We are MLTSS, Managed Long-Term Support and Services. It is our job to make sure that our members can live in the community independently and with dignity. And if that means I'm getting him a first floor apartment, then that's what I will do to make sure he has access to care. And at that moment, when she told me that, it really made me feel, okay, could you stop sharing so we can see you? Okay. Hold on,
you,
guys.
Angela. I got you. I got you.
Now, can you see me now?
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And it really touched me that at that moment, because I realized that, yes, we are a health insurance carrier, but we are truly impacting the quality of lives of people one by one and making a difference. And that's when it became my mission to make sure that everyone who was on Medicare and Medicaid knew about the benefits that they are entitled to. And that's why we partnered up with Rich. And that's what I'm going to be going over with you now is our DSNP plan, which is a plan that's designed for Medicare and Medicaid beneficiaries. So tell me, can you see the screen?
I see you.
You see me? You don't see? Oh, okay. Let me share. Let's see, share screen. Okay, now, how about now? Yep. You can see the PowerPoint?
No, we can't see it. Hold on.
Okay, let me go back because we saw his when I put up the other.
Yeah, it did come up. It should come up though.
Okay. Cancel. Okay, share. Oh, you can see this, right? You're sharing your screen. Okay, how about this?
There you go. Now you're there. Okay, great.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go over the service area, enrollment and eligibility, planned features and benefits in a Q&A session. What's great is that Rich is here too, so he's going to chime in because you may have people in the community when you start hearing about these benefits that you feel that would be benefiting from this and wondering, well, how do they qualify? And that's what Rich can help with the Medicaid, Medicare portion as well. You'll be happy to know the DSNP plan is in all 21 counties. So that means that wherever the member resides or the beneficiary resides in the state of New Jersey, they will be eligible. We are in Camden County. However, you can have your members or residents see any doctor in any of the counties. Camden is very borders Burlington County, so doctors and providers in Burlington County can be utilized as well as any other of the 21 counties. Enrollment eligibility is very simple. Do you live in New Jersey? Are you enrolled in Medicare Part A and B coverage? And are you receiving full Medicaid benefits from the state of New Jersey? And that's where Rich will step in and be able to help determine that. And even Rich, you can help guide people with waiving that Medicare Part B premium that people are paying if they're on Medicaid. Is that correct?
That's correct. There's a lot of people that are out there, especially in Camden, that don't know or don't believe that it's possible. Just to tell you a couple quick stories, met somebody that was making with Social Security a little over $700 a month. They were getting $150 taken out for the Medicare Part B. So now they're at $550. They qualified for Medicaid. They were paying for their Medicare. Medicare benefit is paid by Medicaid if you fall under certain guidelines. It's called a Medicare savings plan. So people can make up to around $1,400 a month and not have to pay the $148.50 Part B. All it is a matter of finding out that it's available, but people don't know. So the woman that we had seen in Camden was paying $200 a month for insulin. So now she's down to $350 a month trying to pay for her bills and everything else. She had 5 people living with her because she couldn't afford to live by herself. Was able to get her back to $150, which was $1,800 a year, just by applying. She qualified for Medicaid. So now she applied, and wait till you hear all the benefits that come with this program. She couldn't believe it. It's all a matter of just finding out. It's not hard to do. It's just people don't know that it's available. And if you have Medicare Part A and Part B, and you qualify based on income, you can get all the benefits that Angela's going to go over and make your life, you can get yourself an extra $2,000 just in non-paying of the Medicare premium for Part B. And it's just out there. Just call me and I'll help you with it. It's just a phone call. So Angela, go ahead.
Thank you, Rich. So what's amazing about the DSNP plan is it's a zero premium plan. So it's not going to cost the Medicare beneficiary a dime. There's no referral. So they have the freedom and flexibility of using providers that are participating with the Horizon Medicare DSNP plan. And if someone has prescription drugs now and they're paying a copay because there's different levels of benefit for Medicaid, it eliminates the copay. Some people pay $1.50, some people pay $3.50. And if you're taking 10 medications and you're paying $3.50 and your income is limited, that is a significant amount of money for that individual, and we eliminate that for them. We also have the over-the-counter benefit. I'm so excited about this because our beneficiaries get $375 a quarter, which is $1,500 a year that they can use at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Dollar General, Duane Reade, and they can get things like vitamins, Metamucil, eye drops, cough medicine, diabetic socks, compression socks, walkers, canes, Depends, mouthwash. There's so many items that even when we go to the pharmacy or the department store and we buy these things and we walk out and we spend $100 and we're like, what did we just buy, right? So imagine if you have a population of people that have limited income with no ability to get any more than what they're getting from Social Security, that we are infusing $1,500 back into their pockets. If the person has 2 chronic conditions, and some of the conditions are COPD, diabetes, drug abuse, HIV, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, they will qualify to have food items. And these food items are seafood, fresh meats, vegetables, juices, peanut butter. There's a whole list. So they can utilize that $375 and also purchase food items. So having that ability and not having to pay anything for this benefit is a life changer for a lot of people. And I know many people on this call are constantly in the community where they see Medicare beneficiaries and Medicaid beneficiaries that are in that situation, and how this can really be a life changer for them. They also, in addition to the $1,500 a year, they get a $250 per quarter credit to spend on our OTC catalog. A lot of the items do overlap that you can get at a pharmacy, but the OTC catalog is a catalog that has many of the OTC items that you would purchase for yourself. I actually had to just buy a blood pressure cuff for my mom, and it was $50. I got it at Walgreens. They have talking blood pressure cuffs, pulse oximeters, Depends, lanolin cloth to clean your face and your body. There's toothpaste. And what's great about both of these benefits, you don't have to get the store brand. There is brand name items that are not excluded. So if someone needed Sensodyne toothpaste, let's say, they can get Sensodyne, or if they prefer Aleve versus ibuprofen, they can have that. If they want Visine or Cysteine eye drops, they can have those. There is no limit on what brands they can buy, and that gives them flexibility of choice, and also I feel that it provides them with dignity of care. And this is all part of our plan. That is no cost to the Medicare beneficiary that is on Medicaid. We also have the Silver and Fit program. What is so great about this is it includes a membership for a companion. So what does that mean? That means the beneficiary can bring along their spouse, their child, their home health aide. It doesn't have to be the same person every time. So this is something that right now, I know because of COVID, a lot of the gyms have restrictions, but when things start opening up, people can definitely participate in this. If they don't want to participate at a gym, we have the fitness tools for home. They'll get exercise equipment. And let me tell you, if I am not the sucker for buying every kind of exercise equipment that I've seen on TV, I bought the ab flex, I bought the wave, I bought the ball that you lay down on and you crunch, and I have spent thousands of dollars all my life on exercise equipment. Well, guess what? If you are on the DSNP plan, you get 2 exercise kits a year. Those same type of exercise kits, I bought both Tybo back in 1997. So I'm really pleased that we are able to offer this to our beneficiaries, because it really does, for them to be able to improve their health or stay healthy by movement is always a great thing. So we have that available for not just one person, 2 people that are accompanying the beneficiary. Telemedicine. This has been the most important benefit for 2020. Can I just get a raise of hands? How many people have utilized your telemedicine to see your doctors over the last year because of COVID? A lot of you, right? We offer telemedicine not just for a primary care physician, but for a mental health provider, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a licensed clinical social worker, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is amazing because it doesn't matter what time of the day something happens. It's usually never during an easy, 1, 11, 12 o'clock, I'll go to the doctor, right? It's always in the middle of the night, something happens. Well, this can be used for contacting a doctor so you don't have to rush to the emergency room. And if it is something that's urgent like that you have the peace of mind that they're sending you to the emergency room and you're not going to be there for 5 and 6 hours waiting. That is for both mental health as well as primary care. We also offer a meal benefit. I'm going to tell you how important this is. Many people that are in the hospital and when they're discharged home, they have no one to care for them. And they are not in the physical capacity to be able to start cooking their meals. And if they order out, it's very expensive. So after an acute inpatient stay, our members receive 28 meals over a 14-day period. So that's for 2 meals a day, and this is per calendar year. It also helps families that aren't able to get to their loved ones' homes to cook for them, that when they're released from the hospital, they'll be able to have food prepared for them. All preventative services are a zero copay. Our plan emphasizes getting preventative services because Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield feels that if you're able to be proactive on your health, it will help alleviate some of the chronic and acute conditions that can happen down the road from neglecting getting testing done. So all of our members are encouraged to get testing done, and they're all zero copay. Colonoscopies, mammograms are some of the most popular preventative screenings, but there's all the vaccinations as well as smoking cessation is covered in this program. Prescription drugs are all zero, and this is in addition to that, we have a Medicaid wrap list. If someone has over-the-counter medications like vitamin D pills, for instance, or Colace or Docalac, for instance, if they get a doctor's prescription for it, instead of utilizing their $375 OTC benefit, they will be able to use our Medicaid wrap, and that won't eat into their $375. So that is another way to save on this plan by having coverage for unlimited over-the-counter medications with a doctor's prescription.
You forgot like Ensure or glycerin, which is really, really expensive. That's
yes,
included.
Thank you, Rich. Yes, many people that I've met along the way in my years with Horizon, they have family members that are buying the Ensure and Boost as a nutritional supplement for their loved ones. And the chief complaint is they're very expensive. And our plan will cover those items with the doctor's prescription, and it's unlimited. So that is something that we are the only carrier in New Jersey that does that. Additional benefits we have are podiatry services. This is something that is very important because if you are, any diabetic, of course, has diabetic podiatry services. But for the non-diabetics, there is no coverage for routine foot care. And what routine foot care is: clipping of your toenails, removing of calluses and corns. So our plan will cover 8 visits a year for routine hygienic podiatry services. This is not a benefit that's covered by Medicare. We also cover worldwide emergency coverage and transportation. Medicare and Medicaid does not cover you worldwide, and our plan does. And we're going to go into a little bit of the care management. I gave you that story about the care manager. So why do people benefit from this instead of having Medicare and Medicaid separately? This actually coordinates the benefits, and you have a care manager that is your coordinator to tie in primary care specialists and home health and community providers, whether it's daycare or physical therapy, that's working on your behalf. They create a care plan. So it improves the continuity of care, and it alleviates the member from having to coordinate all those benefits. The care manager is the one that does that for them. And that's what makes this plan the gold standard in the United States. All of the Blues and most other carriers look to Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield because of the way that our care managers treat the members, and we have higher quality of healthy outcomes because of our care management. So, Rich, if you can leave your phone number, if people want to reach.
It's in the chat.
Okay, all right. Does anyone have any questions about what I went over concerning DSNP?
What about the case, Matt? What about the caregiver benefit?
We do have what is called a PPP program. Many times you'll find that there is a loved one caring for the Medicare and Medicaid beneficiary. Many times they have to leave their employer in order to care for their loved one. In the PPP program, their care manager can help them complete the application. Well, they complete it for them, and they can be compensated up to $15 an hour for 40 hours a week to care for their loved one. And they coordinate that if they are on home health benefits as well. So for instance, the home health aide will come, let's say between 8 and 3, and this is just an example. And then the family member then comes and cares for their loved one between 3 and 9, and they put them to bed, and then they're paid based on the hours that they help care for their loved one. They do not have to be certified. The PPP program will provide training if they want training.
Angela, Sarah has a question. Her hand is up. Oh, I know she raised her hand for something else. Sarah, do you have a question?
No, I was raising my hand in response to her question.
Oh, the other question? Okay, cool.
Yes.
No problem. Okay. If there's anyone else that has any questions for Angela regarding this. Now, mind you, this this meeting will be on our Facebook page as well as our webpage, www.pbcip.org. If you want, to go over it again, that way you can write stuff down. But it will be available on our page that you can go over it, at your leisure and share it with some of your friends if you would like. Okay, so that way, if there's anything that you missed tonight, you can just go back over it like tomorrow or whatever day you want.
All right. Can I interject this story quick? Do you have some time, Sheila?
Yeah, I got 5 minutes.
Okay. I had a referral to someone in Camden, in north part of Camden, and she's taking care of her husband and her mother. They're both Medicare, Medicaid eligible, but didn't know about the Horizon program. So she's working 2 jobs, trying to take care of her husband and her mother-in-law, take care of them, do her job, pay for things, and have some kind of a life. Because we were able to get the mother as well as her husband involved in these Medicare, Medicaid dual plans that Angela just described, she's now getting $750 every 3 months for food for the house. The $150 that was coming out for her Medicare Part B for her husband and her mother now comes back in. They didn't take it out anymore. Medicaid pays for it. So that's another $300. So that's $3,600. And she's getting about $30,000 a year as a caregiver. So talk about life-changing. That was life-changing, and all it was a phone call. That's things that people aren't aware of. The same thing with the CapTel phone, with the stair chair, with this program. It's available. People think there must be a trick to it because there must be. It's not true. It can't be true. There's a scam or a catch to it. The thing that Angela didn't mention is if you were to sign up for Horizon Medicare dual plan, the dual SNP plan, if you decided you wanted to go back to the way it was and you're not happy with it for whatever reason, why would you not be? But if you weren't, you could switch the next month and go back. So you could certainly try it. Did anybody have any questions or any comments about it or concerns? Or you can call me one-on-one anytime you want, 609-605-0291, and I'll help you to understand. I give you phone numbers to call if you're not Medicare, even though some people are eligible and they don't take Medicare, because what I found is a lot of people are on New Jersey Family Care and are qualified for Medicaid, or they are on Medicaid, but they don't know they could get Medicare, and they need to qualify to get this program, Medicare A, Medicare B, and Medicaid. But a lot of people just don't know it's available, so they never got Medicare Part B. We'll help you with that.
So this is a lot of information to take in for one night, but like I said, this is also recorded. So if there's any questions, if you need his number and you can't find it or something, you can always call our office at 856-964-0440. My extension is 13. And you can actually get your information from me. I can give you Rich's information and Angela's information. This is something that's really important. You guys have seen all the commercials that they show you with the football player and God only knows whoever else will come on there and do it. And they'll tell you like, hey, you can get this, 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 and this, but they're not telling you how you can get this, 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 and this. They can tell you that all of the benefits. They're not telling you why those benefits are available to you. They're just telling you to call this number and these people will help you through. Well, in our own circle, right this very second, here are those people. Angela and Rich are those people, the same ones you see on television. So you would call Angela and Angela will help you get through. You will call Rich and Rich will help you get through. Some of our members that are part of PVCIP are actually receiving some of the benefits that, Rich was able to help them get a while ago because of the fact that, they reached out and they asked a question and he answered the question. The thing is that not everyone has the ability to do that. So please share your information with everyone. Let people know that these two people are available. Like I said, my phone number is 856-964-0440, extension 13. You can call me and say, hey, Sheila, who's that guy that was on your April show? And I'll tell them, oh, Rich Brenner. Oh, yeah, the one that's got the Richard retirement rules in the background. Yeah, that guy, So he would be able to walk you through it. I mean, I've been in touch with Rich for a long time, and he has always made sure that I had all the information I needed. I mean, he's like an overload of information. And Angela is a wealth of knowledge with all of those different programs that's going on. This is 2021. Medicare and Medicaid have changed again. It changes like you bet your eyes, and Medicare and Medicaid has changed again. So you need people that are in our inner circle that can help guide you through those things. So you'll know, what it is that you need to know and how you need to be able to help someone else, have a better quality of life. So I thank you two guys so much. Angela, thank you so much. You look really great. It really looks good now. The light is perfect on you now.
The other thing real quick is I have somebody I work with that speaks Spanish. So if anybody needs somebody to help in the Spanish community, we got that covered as well.
Great. So it's not one of those things that, you have to be nervous about. There are income guidelines that people, are living under, and they should be able to get the things that they need based on the income that they have. Some people won't qualify. We're not even going to say that you will, but the majority of you may qualify and you don't even know it. So the number is in the chat. Okay. That's for Rich and for Angela. And that way you can just, call them at your leisure, give them a minute. They're only one person. And let them get back to you and tell you what it is that, they can find qualifications for you to help you with whatever it is. And if you're a caregiver, you're taking care of a grandma, a grandpa, your mom, your dad, an aunt, an uncle, whoever, a friend that's disabled, give them a call. Let them know that, you're struggling through this and you need some help. And you just want to just be guided. And I guarantee you'll be happy when you make the call. Okay.
Thanks, Sheila.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks, Sheila.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, Angela. So we're
My
going to move
pleasure.
on. Two of our presenters had some other issues that had to be taken care of tonight. And I apologize to you that the assemblyman will not be able to join us tonight, but he will be back next month. And our own Jonathan Wetstein will not be able to join us tonight because he had some personal things to take care of himself. And these things have been happening off and on through COVID, so it's not, we pray for everything to be okay. And we just go ahead and make things go further as we go along. So at this point, I have Dr. Porter that's going to be coming along at about 7:30. That's going to talk to us about, COVID, the vaccines, and those different things. In the meantime, our flyer said, this was a what's going on kind of conversation. This was a, open up your phones and open up your speakers and let's talk to each other. Let's have a conversation about what's going on around you. What do you see that you would like to have changed? And, what do you want to do? Like my conversation, I'm starting off. All right, I'll start off. My conversation is about cannabis. So I wanted to actually talk to you guys about what we know now. Cannabis is it's a semi what you call unbalanced kind of informational thing. And cannabis is now like standing in two major places as it is. One is on the CBD side and the other one is on the THC side. And let me explain the difference between the two. CBD is cannabidiol. Cannabidiol is legal in all 50 states. Let's start with that so we don't have anybody going through any changes. Cannabidiol is only, for the most part, when it is harvested a certain way, it is only 0.3% THC based. And THC is tetrahydrocannabinol. I'm sorry, tetrahydrocannabinol. Okay, crazy names. That's why they call them THC for that one and CBD for the other one. Now, a lot of people are on medications. A lot of people are on over-the-counter medications. You're on medications for pain. You're on medications for heart. You're on medications for blood pressure. You're on medications for everything. Because of the fact that cannabis had been demonized back in 1937 by a few men who had some underlying issues that they wanted to do. They wanted to just make sure that everybody could do something that they wanted them to do. They found a way to get Congress in 1937 to ban and to demonize cannabis. Okay. They renamed it marijuana, which was like actually cursing at it. And because they renamed it, most of the Congress did not know what they were talking about. Hemp was one of the top products in the United States between the early 1900s all the way through to 1937. To be honest with you, from the 1700s all the way through to 1937, that was the benefactor of the United States as for all of the things that the United States had to offer. It made rope, it made household goods. It was utilized for feed. It was utilized in every capacity. It was actually one of the things that slaves actually used to gain their freedom by growing it, harvesting it, and selling it to actually be able to do that. So with those things being said, CBD is the alternative to the doctor prescribed medicine. I am not telling you to not do or not take what your doctor says. I am just looking at, you have an alternative. There are alternatives with medicines, and medicines are not always the man-made kind. This is a seed grown from the ground given by God to us to do the things that we need done. Say, for instance, inflammation. Everybody's joints at some point in time when it's about to rain starts to hurt. You know the feeling. I know the feeling. CBD helps with that. I'm not saying it's like one of those things you take and it's going to instantly go away, but as you're feeding it into your system on a day-to-day basis, it's going to help you. This is another thing you need to know about it. You cannot overdose with it. You can't take, if you take 15 milligrams, that's a smallest amount. But if you take 45 milligrams, it's not an overdosing thing because it works with your body. It's water, it's fat soluble. It works inside of your body. So the way it goes in is the way it's going to come back out. You're not going to have any, crazy things going on. Everybody's individual now. So you have to check your own body to see if you have a rash, if you have an irritation of some sort, because there may be something in it that may not agree with you as an individual. But for the most part, the full spectrum, which is the whole plant, okay, that's the kind, that's the best kind. Full spectrum CBD is the type that you're supposed to get for your ailments such as anxiety, depression, acne, heart disease, sleep, things of that nature. I have 83, 84-year-old parents. My mother is blind in one eye and she's going blind in the other. My dad has the shakes, which we thought was Parkinson's disease, but we're not sure what it is. I didn't know what to do. Every time we turned around, we were going back and forth to a doctor. Come to find out, there were things that was going on with them that I didn't have control over, and the medications that my dad was on wasn't making them any better. So I went to our local pharmacist right here in Parkside, and he had CBD that was being sold inside the pharmacy, which made me trust it, because I don't trust everything online, and you shouldn't either. So as I was going through it, and I asked him some questions about it, and because it told me approximately how many milligrams were in each little pill, okay, I bought it, I took it home, I gave it to my dad first. So I gave it to him the night before, and my dad was shaking like this. I'm telling you, he couldn't hold a bottle of water up to his face. It would just shake and water would go all over the place. I gave him 2 the night before, and the next morning, I have a camera at their house where I can watch them to make sure they're okay. I watched him have his breakfast, and I watched my dad actually pick up his coffee and not shake. And I didn't understand whether or not it was just a one time or whether or not it was, whatever. Then I kept doing the same thing and giving him the same dosage. And as I'm watching him now, his shakes are down to, if I see him do just a little bit, he shakes just like having a cup of coffee or something like that. So I can see that there is a benefit. I, at the age of 65 years old, started taking it myself. I said, if I'm going to give it to my parents, I'm going to take it myself. I gave it to myself. I have been resting more. I am not as anxious about things as I was during 2020 when I wasn't on CBD. I'm now more calm about things. My focus is better. I understand the body aches are not as bad, like walking and being in pain and everything like that. That's not as bad as it used to be. So I found for me, for my parents so far, and my husband who was having a sleep disorder. So I gave it to him as well. And now he's sleeping through the night. He's taking it right before he gets ready to go to bed. And he is now sleeping until it's time for him to wake up in the morning for work. So I can attest to the fact that I know that CBD that I am using has been working for my family and for myself. Now, you will be your own decision maker on whether or not it works for you. But in comparison to all of the opioids that's out there that have all of these massive side effects, you have to look at, what do you want for your life? How do you want your life to be? Do you want it better? Do you want it worse? What do you want? So I'm gonna open up the floor, let you ask me questions. I'm currently in school right now for cannabis because I wanted to learn more about it and everything, but I'm ready to answer questions. So if you have questions about it, you can either just chime in or you can raise your hand in the chat and we can talk about it. If you know stuff that you want to share with someone, you can open up your mic and you can start talking about it. And we can just like have a conversation about, it could be cannabis, it could be about things going on in the neighborhood. But right now, I'm just open for questions where CBD and cannabis is concerned. So I don't see anybody moving. Okay. This is one of those conversations that I'm going to have more often because it's one of those things that we need to know more about. It's used for anti-inflammatory. It's used for natural pain relief. And natural pain relief, nobody wants to take ibuprofen and end up with an ulcer. Nobody wants to take acetaminophen and end up with liver problems because of the fact that your knees are bothering you every day. If you had something that was more natural that could go into your body that could actually take down the inflammation, I am so sure you would. But, the more we know about this, the better it is. Now, on the THC side, since nobody's talking about anything else, on the THC side, THC is the psychoactive part of cannabis. This is the thing that everybody knows about, the high. That's what it's called. It's the psychoactive production. That's what it is. Oh, Angela's there. She has some input. Go ahead, Ange.
I was at a conference the last 2 days, and one of the bills that's being introduced in the New Jersey Senate is legalizing cannabis to be medical marijuana to be covered under health insurance carriers and Medicaid. It is very expensive. So if this is passed, it's really going to be able to have people that are on Medicaid access to exactly what Sheila is speaking about. So more to come on that. But I just wanted to let everyone know because it is not covered by health insurance right now.
Absolutely. That is so true. So if you do go to a doctor, you find a doctor out here in the world that says that they can actually treat you for your ailment, but they would recommend. They cannot prescribe. So let's understand why they can't prescribe. Prescription means that you would actually have to prescribe something by way of being a legal medical doctor. Okay. Currently, they could prescribe CBD because it's legal, but they cannot prescribe anything else like medical cannabis at the medical cannabis dispensaries because federally it is illegal still. The state of New Jersey just legalized in November of 2020, and we were legal by medical, I think maybe 4 to 6 years before that. So if the legislators in New Jersey decide that for the sake of medical use, that they would allow this to be a part, if they would allow this to be a part of your insurance so that you can actually pay for it, that would be absolutely excellent. So right now, that's the problem is that, we don't have the balance that we need to be able to, allow people to get it as they need it. Smoking is not the only way to ingest when it comes down to CBD. Like CBD is not a smoking thing. You can get it in oils. You can get it in capsules. You can get it in, edibles. There's various ways to get it. So, you just have to look at where you want to get it from. Like I said, I trust the pharmacist. The pharmacist had it in his pharmacy, and that's where I got mine from. So with that, I actually started looking at, how else can I help others, utilize this? And it's not a thing that, I'm trying to promote or to sell. It's just something that has been too long overdue, that we have gotten so removed from, being in our natural, that we're now in this state of whatever a doctor says is what we do. And we have to remember, we live with our bodies every day. we know our bodies better than anybody. And a doctor can only do for you what you tell him is wrong, or him or her, what's wrong with you. And once they know, then they'll go through their list of things in their head of what they've learned through medical school, and then they'll start prescribing various things. But on the New Jersey website, under the Department of Health, there are a lot of information. There's a lot of information there that tells you about, they call it MMJ. And when they give you this information, it will tell you there's a list of doctors, and it's a lot of doctors that are out here now that, you know, will help you to get, you know, the recommendation that you need in order for you to be able to go to the dispensary, and the closest one to us is in Belmar, to get what it is that you need, which will be, now mind you, it's not a CBD, it's a THC base for that. So you should know that. So if you go through the doctor, it's going to be a THC based cannabis, because of the fact that the THC based cannabis is for like chronic pain, like cancers and AIDS and things of that nature. And it's going to help people to be able to have an appetite. Okay. They may be, you know, a little bit, as we call it, soft, or, you know, just laid back for a little while, but the pain won't be as so substantial in their life. And that's what is most important. Okay. We want to also make sure that people understand that, you know, this is not something that our young people should really be all into and everything, but it is something that we should be looking at, you know, later on, as how this is going to work, because there's so many properties to the cannabis plant as for what it can do for the homes and for, you know, the businesses and things like that. There's business all over the place that is now surrounded by this one little teeny weeny seed that grows into this ginormous plant. And it's so much business that can be conducted from it. You have to know the laws of the state of New Jersey. That's who we're governed under. And you have to know the laws of the federal government. And if you know the two, and you don't get in the mix of the mess of it, you can find yourself a business in there that you can do stuff with. Like I found myself as being a consultant, and it's working, because the more you know, the more you teach people, the better it is for individuals. So I just want to share that with you tonight. And I hope that, you know, if there's, you know, anything that you can use from it, please do. Like I said, if there's any other information that I can give to you, you can call me at the office. I'm at 856-964-0440, extension 13. I also wanted to, now I got a couple more minutes, thank those that participated in last Saturday's cleanup. Oh my God, we had a great cleanup. CCPD was there, and we so appreciate it. Sergeant Wilkes was in the on the Park Boulevard section, probably with another officer, and Officer Baker was down here on Baird Boulevard and Bellevue. So our streets that we covered on the 24th were Haddon Avenue, Kane Avenue, Park Boulevard, and Baird Boulevard. We also covered inner streets of Greenwood, Ormond, Bradley, and was one more street, Bradley and Bellevue. Okay, so we did all of that. I went through the city, I went through the Parkside, and it looks so much better. That's our first one. No electronics and no bulk items on this one, because it's kind of like an Earth Day thing. The next one is May 15th. May 15th, we are going to cover Princess Avenue from 1500 down, Kenwood Avenue from 1500 down, Euclid from Haddon to Park Boulevard. No, Euclid from Haddon to Bradley, actually. We're going to cover Langham Avenue from the 1200 down, Empire 1200 down, Magnolia 1200 down, and all of Wildwood. So those are going to be our next streets to cover. In this one, you can set out bulk items. You can set out mattresses. You can set out furniture. You can set out, you know, electronics on the second one. And we're going to have a third one in June. So I will let you know about that. But I just want to thank everyone that participated in our 424 cleanup, our first one for Earth Week. And we did a great, fantastic job. I cannot thank DPW enough, Keith Walker and his team. These people are awesome. So they did a really great job. And I thank CCPD for always being there to watch over us and make sure everything is good. Also want to bring to your attention, Virtuous Farmers Market. Virtua is going to have a farmers market coming as of June 3rd. It's going to be on a Thursday. The time is going to be determined in Camden High, Farnham, aka Camden High Park. They're going to sell fresh fruits and vegetables to, everyone. This is not just Camden residents. This is open to everyone. So on that day, they're going to be there. They take cash, debit, EBT, and we're going to be announcing this on social media and through flyers and other means, starting in May. So that way you'll know that we're going to be there, or they're going to be there in the park in June. Let me see what else do we have to say. CCPD wants you to know this. The Stop It app is one of the most important things that they have developed, and they've been trying to get people to use it for a while. A lot of people are used to being able to pick up the phone, call somebody, say, hey, this is what's going on, whatever, call the police, 911. Okay, 911 is in case of emergencies, whatever the emergency may be, a fire, someone shooting, somebody's laying in the street, whatever the case may be, somebody's fighting somebody, whatever, that's a 911 call. Other calls can be done through the Stop It app. Okay, I don't know if you can see this or not, but it's backwards. Okay, and it's called the Stop It app. It's on your phone under the App Store for your iPhone and under Google Play. Okay, now the code is Camden, New Jersey in capital letters. So when you go to your app, you find the Stop It app, you put it on your phone, you put in the access code, Camden, New Jersey. It's all together, capital letters, and then you open it. Okay. And if you need to report a crime of some sort, I have been told there are people traveling through other people's backyards that they have no business being in. Okay. If you don't have a camera or a light or something on your back, in your backyard, this is the time that you're supposed to get on your phone, try to take a picture, put it on your Stop It app, make sure that you send it into the police. It goes directly to the department where everyone in the department has access to it. We don't have to worry about one individual officer being in charge of it or no individuals. This goes through the department. So somebody will respond to that, and it's in record. So they don't have to worry about you called or whatever, and you know how that goes. So use the Stop It app. It's very important for the police department. It's very important for us so that we'll be able to have better, what you call, protection, and we'll have a actual backup system that shows that we did just that. I used it last night, and in helping out a friend, and it worked out, and it did really well. She had her own stuff. People should be looking at maybe getting solar lights for their yards, because solar lights don't cost you anything outside of the payment that you pay for it. But once you put it up, the sun energizes it and the light comes on at night. I have 3 of them around my house. I'm about to put up a 4th because they're very, very useful. So a solar lights, if you need some more information about it, call me at 856-964-0440, extension 13. I wanted to also let you know that our membership is still $12, and you can now go to PayPal. You can go to www.pbcip.org and say, you want to join. And when you click on, it has all the information there. So you can put in your name, your address, fill out the application. It's not an application, but the membership information. And then you can go ahead and pay by debit card, credit card, however you want to pay. And those 2 captions anyway. And you can become a member. Our membership is already close to like maybe 78 to 80 people, and it's just April. Well, our goal is to have over 200 people by December or more. So get your friends out here. $12 a month for the services that we can provide for you is not a lot of money. You try to find any other membership agency right now that is charging less than us, and let me know about it. But right now, I think we may be the cheapest. So we're trying to make sure that, all of our Parkside residents, and even if you don't live in Parkside, you can become a PBCIP member. We call it an associate member because you're actually living outside of the area, but it's still a part of what it is that you'll have knowledge of. So we want you to have that as well. There are a few things that are going to be coming up. And I'm going to make some announcements. I wanted to save those to the end. But like I said, if there's anyone that wants to, like, you got something you want to announce, I got a few minutes before the doctor is due to come on, about 5 minutes. If there's anything that you want to announce, one thing that I do want to talk about is that we have a renters, we have a renters a program coming up that's going to be held on May 1st. I do believe it's from 1 to 3, but it's a flyer that just went out, the flyer that you received from us. It's going to be at the Learning Garden on Haddon Avenue, right next to Donkey's. And it's going to be for tenants so they can have more of an empowerment over what they don't know about landlords, how they are treated, whatever it is that they're doing, and, how they're mistreating tenants and having them live in squalor conditions and charging them astronomical rents and trying to evict them, and a lot of things that they're doing. We are now trying to empower the tenants so that they will have a better understanding of what's going on. If you need more information about this, the number is 964-0440, extension 16. And the young lady there will, guide you through to help you to understand more about what's going on, so that way that you'll be able to actually have a better knowledge of what's going on with the landlord tenant. Also coming up, there's a couple other things coming up. Let's see what else I have on my list here. So neighborhood community block captains, as we are called, what we're called the Pride Network now. Pride standing for Parkside Residents, Parkside Residents, providing residents. This is my own thing. And now because of COVID, I haven't really said it in such a long time, but it's called Pride. Give me a second, I'll remember it. Providing residents with information to directly empower. Thank you, God. That way, providing them with information to directly empower is so important. It's so, so, so important. Because if we don't provide our residents with information to empower, then they don't know what to do. So our individual persons that are on our blocks and everything, that see things and hear things and know about stuff, these are the people that we would like to become Pride captains. And it's really not a whole lot of work to do. It's really one of those things that when you do come on, we just want to inform you about what's going on. You'll be, connected with us and with the police department and any other departments that we're working with, so that you'll have the knowledge of what's about to happen in the neighborhood, basically like the person to go to. So with that being said, to become a Pride captain, I'm the person you would have to contact. Just call me at this number, 856-964-0440, extension 13, and just say, hey, Sheila, I'm interested in becoming a Pride captain. You can also email me at sgreene, GREENE, @pbcip.org. And that way I can give you the information on what it takes to be a Pride captain. It's not a whole lot. I'm not taking away your life. We're not telling you to go out here and be a vigilante or any of those things. We just want to be able to know what's going on block to block. The more eyes we have watching what's going on, the safer our communities will become. Okay. It's now going on about 7:29. All right. So with that being said, I have some things that I want to just announcements, short announcements. I'm gonna make them early, and then I'll come back to you guys later on the rest of it. Tomorrow, I have to go by my phone now. Tomorrow, I will be probably online with the Camden Parents Union, and they're going to have a speak out for the teachers and the students and the parents. And this is to discuss the returning to school in 2021. Returning to school in 2021 and the Camden elections that are upcoming. And this is going to be at 6 p.m. on Facebook Live under Camden Parents Union. So we'd like you to join us for that. Also on Thursday, between 7 and 8:30, they're going to have another forum. It's called the Camden People's Forum, which is going to talk about the candidates that are running for mayor. So if you want to join that just to see, if you want to just see who is there and, hear what they have to say, that would be at 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, the 29th, at 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Also on May 13th, there will be a virtual meeting by the Camden Parents and Student Union to discuss parent and student power, which is going to run from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. To register, you will go to www.camdenpsu.com, and you can follow them at Camden PSU. These are very important meetings for people to have to be included in, especially if you have children. The Camden Parents Union, took a stand because, two young mothers saw that it was important that, our children are, represented well. And what we need to know is, okay, thank you, Miosha. The thing that we need to know is, what do our children feel about what has just happened to them? They are now in a COVID situation. They are away from their friends. They're away from their school. They're away from everything. Proms are not the same. Graduation is not the same. Nothing's the same. And in the Speak Out, it's really important that these children get an opportunity to say what's in their hearts. Children are very depressed right now, and we don't know it. They're not showing it as well as they could, and a lot of them are showing it maybe too well. There are parents that are also depressed because COVID has taken, a 600,000 life toll on us. And some of it has been like right in front of our faces, and some of it has been all around us. Just to clarify, let's see. Hi, Dr. Porter, he's here. Yay, thank you so much. Okay, it is now 7:30. Great. So for everyone, I would like to now stop talking, and I would like to now introduce our special guest, Dr. John Porter from Cooper Cooper Hospital, that's going to come in and is going to talk to you about various things, somewhat about the vaccine and some of it about some other things that you may have questions about, but more so about vaccines, vaccinations, and the last little scare that we had on the Johnson & Johnson thing that, made people pull back. So I would like to welcome Dr. Porter. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Okay, so a couple things is I'm only going to tell one story, and then I want to answer questions, because I think the most important thing is to be heard and listened to as opposed to get a lecture. So I don't lecture people. The second thing is I am a Camden resident. I live in the Victor building, and when I moved to come work at Cooper as the head trauma surgeon, I moved into Camden. It was supposed to be temporary until I found a house somewhere else, but I liked it so much I have stayed. So I am a Camden resident. And then when the vaccine came out, they wanted to make an example of me by having me go first, and I actually refused. And the reason I refused is I read the initial paper by Pfizer, and of the 40,000 people that they had in their study, only 800 were Black or people of color. And I felt that with America's history not being the best with taking care of Black folks and testing, that I didn't want to be first. And I waited until about 2 weeks after, till it got up to be about 2 million people, called the CDC, found out that there were a significant number of people of color then who had taken the vaccine. And then I took the vaccine. So when people say that they're concerned because they're a person of color and they don't trust medicine, et cetera, I do not laugh at them. I understand them because I didn't trust it at first, even though I am a physician. And I waited until I took it, until I had more information to take it. But now I've studied it. On the committee at Cooper that decides what the new therapies are going to be in research for COVID, and has been involved in the pandemic from the beginning. During the first phase of the pandemic, I worked 83 days in a row and then took 2 days off and worked 76 more days in a row. So I've been in the heat of it. And with that little bit as a story, I prefer to take questions about the vaccine, about COVID in general, or anything you want to ask me. I have more things I can say, but I prefer to take questions so that I get to cover what everybody is interested in hearing. Well, while I wait for questions, I will talk some more and answer some of the questions that people typically ask me. One is, are you actually getting injected with the virus? No, you are not. You're getting injected with the mRNA that codes the receptor for the virus. So if you look at the virus picture and you see the little spikes on the ball all the time, what the vaccine does is it tells your body to make that little spike protein. And then your body makes antibodies to that. And so then if you end up seeing the virus later on, the virus can't bind to the cells to give you COVID because the receptor is blocked and it can't bind. That mRNA that's injected into your arm is destroyed within 3 hours after taking the vaccine. So it never gets incorporated into your DNA. It's impossible to get incorporated into your DNA. So that means if you're expecting a child, trying to get pregnant from the man's side or the woman's side, there is no issue with that. And now I see one question. It says, how important is it to hydrate ourselves before getting vaccinated? Related to that is the reactions that people talk about. The reactions that you get after receiving the vaccine, 37% of people get a headache, get chills, and get a fever, and they get symptoms like they would have had if they got the virus. That's actually your immune system responding to the foreign protein that's being made. So that's technically not a side effect, but a normal reaction. Hydrating ahead of time will help you feel better. If you get those symptoms, taking 2 Tylenol will help. The symptoms typically last between 12 and 24 hours in the 37% of the people that get them, and then they go away.
Doctor, this is Sheila. So we have been looking at the Johnson vaccine as a one shot, and everybody wanted just one shot.
That's
then
correct.
They came out with the situation with the blood clots, and they looked at the age group. Could you speak more on the age group and why it may have affected just that age group, or if you can, and should we actually wait, or should we go ahead and continue, letting Johnson be one of the main components of the vaccines that we're choosing?
Yes. So the simple answer, and then I will give the facts behind it, is that yes, that vaccine is safe for a majority of people. What they found is 6, and the number might be higher than 6 now. It might be in the low teens, and it's all been women, and it's all been between the ages of 18 and 48. And from a medical point of view, and from a common sense point of view, the thing that women between the ages of 18 and 48 have in common is their menstrual cycle and the hormones that accompany that. And so the researchers believe that that is why they're getting clots in their brain, a cerebral sinus thrombosis. And so the CDC has cleared it, and I believe they did the correct thing, that if you're not in that age group, and if you're a man, then there's no risk at all from the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccine, and it's 100% safe to take it. If you are a female in that age group, you have basically a 1 in a million chance of getting that clot based on the number of vaccines that have been given and the number of people who've developed those clots. In a thunderstorm, you have about a 1 in 200,000 chance of getting struck by lightning. So you can see that you're 5 times more likely to get struck by lightning walking outside in a thunderstorm than you are to get this clot if you take the vaccine. And so if you're concerned as a woman in that age group, you could get one of the other 2 vaccines. But really, the odds of getting that clot are significantly less than getting struck by lightning and significantly less than developing COVID. So that's the science on the vaccine. There's no real harm in taking the earlier vaccines, the Pfizer and the Moderna one that requires 2 shots, other than the fact that you'll have to go back and get a second shot. That's the only downside of the Pfizer and the Moderna, is the relative inconvenience of having to go back to the place and get a second shot. But other than that, there's no problem with those vaccines.
Okay, Dr. Brown, we have 2 more questions. And they're asking, please explain the benefits of, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, monoclonal antibody therapy and MAT.
I think MAT is the abbreviation for monoclonal antibody therapy. So it's,
okay.
It's the same question. It's just
okay, good.
To pronounce MAT than it is to pronounce monoclonal antibody therapy.
Thank you.
And the studies are ongoing right now on the best way to treat COVID if you get COVID. They've used convalescent plasma, in which they take blood from people who have had COVID and survived, and then give that, if it's matched to your blood, if you get COVID, to treat you. The results on that are 50-50. So our blood bank is actually stopping doing that right now because the results are not that strong. And the benefits of monoclonal antibody therapy are just a little bit better than convalescent plasma. The best thing to do for COVID is to get the vaccine so that you don't get COVID. The other benefit of the vaccine is that if you end up getting exposed to COVID and you're one of the people that actually gets COVID after getting the vaccine, the chance of you getting severe COVID and dying is close to 0. Only 1 person in the world has died after getting COVID after having the vaccine. So the vaccines are helpful in 2 ways. 1, they stop you from getting COVID in the first place. And 2, if you happen to get COVID after having the vaccine, you don't die. So it's better to prevent it than to take one of the therapies that don't work all that well yet.
It's Sheila again. I have another question. I just read not too long ago that there's a possibility of a pill that they're actually developing for COVID.
Yes.
You know about it?
Pfizer has a pill that may be a treatment that's undergoing studies. But until the studies are completed and people get to read the study, we don't really know anything about it. So right now, they're giving some people who have COVID the pill, and then another set of people aren't getting the pill or getting treated the normal way. And then they're seeing how the people do. And so until that study is actually published and the doctors get to read it and talk about it and see how good it is, then we can't really make any comments about it. And anything that you read about it now, whether it's on CNN or Facebook or Instagram, is really not true yet because the study isn't done. But there is a study ongoing on a pill from Pfizer that would be used for treatment. And then I think I see another question. It says, how soon will we need a booster shot? We don't know the answer to that yet. Right now, the vaccine has been out for 6 months, and they have studied people who have had the vaccine 6 months ago, and they still have antibodies to it. So we know that you won't need a booster shot at 6 months. They will do that study again in a year, and if the antibodies are still present, you won't need a booster shot at a year. If the antibodies after a year are low, then you'll need a booster shot. So if you read something that says you will definitely need a booster shot, that person is wrong. If you read something that says that you won't need a booster shot, that person is wrong too, because they haven't studied it at a year yet to know the answer.
So, doctor, if there are people who have already been vaccinated, and we've been staying in Parkside, continue to wear your mask even though you've been vaccinated, because they have been said that some people now, even though they've been vaccinated, still have contracted COVID. So we're looking at the mask wearing as being highly important.
That is correct. Although the CDC just approved yesterday that if you're with a group of people who are vaccinated and you're outside in a small group, you don't have to wear your mask. But the safest thing is to continue to wear your mask. But if you look at it, how many people have actually gotten COVID after being vaccinated? The latest answer to that is 5,800 people have gotten COVID after having been vaccinated. But 76 million people have been vaccinated. So that's less than 0.00007%. So that number is low, but I agree with you. And I still wear my mask when I walk into the hospital. I wear my mask if I go into a restaurant. I only eat at restaurants that have outdoor dining so that there's good ventilation. I do fly on airplanes. The airplanes have a HEPA filter that recycles the air every 4 minutes. That is actually faster than we recycle the air in the operating room. We recycle the air in the operating room every 5 minutes. So the planes have always recycled the air because they're a tube and they have to recycle it. So airplane travel is safe, but I wear a mask on the plane. So although I've been vaccinated, I still wear the mask appropriately and try to be smart so that I don't get COVID. But I still think everybody should be vaccinated.
Excellent. Next question from me again. Children. They are now talking about, one of the 3 vaccines. I think it's actually Pfizer. Moderna has also joined the club as well to vaccinate children that's between the ages of, I think, maybe 6 months to 6 years. How do you feel about children being vaccinated in that early age?
So there's 2 things to that. Everybody had their children vaccinated at 9 months in a year for all the other vaccines. So there's no problem with vaccinating people that early. However, we haven't studied it. The first study that was done went down to age 18. They recently completed a study down to age 10, and they're soon to complete the study down to age 5 or 6. So we're waiting till the science comes back to show that it's actually safe. But in all likelihood, it will be safe for children because their immune systems are the same, and they've been getting flu shots and measles shots and chickenpox shots and mump shots for years. The reason why it wasn't tested on children initially is that whenever you test a new drug or a new treatment, you never test it on 2 groups. The first group is children because they can't give informed consent. And you have to have informed consent to try something new in your body. The second group that they never tested on is pregnant women because the unborn child can't give informed consent. So the fact that when it first was approved, you couldn't give it to pregnant women or unborn children didn't mean that it wasn't safe, just meant that it hadn't been tested in those groups yet. Has been tested in those groups now, and it appears to be safe.
So would that help the parents in making the decisions for having their children go back to school? And would it also be recommended that the schools have a better ventilation system because of the fact that they're looking at students returning to school in September, possibly here in the state of New Jersey?
Right. So I always tell this story is I had a female pastor growing up, and she would say, if not every Sunday, at least every other Sunday, is that you should talk what you know. And what I know is medicine, but the decision to go back to school is also political. And I don't do politics because there's more concern with going back to school. Can the parents actually afford to stay off work to do homeschool? Did you get enough computers and high-speed internet access for the community so that homeschool works, et cetera, et cetera? I can't comment on that. I can comment that once it's proven to be safe for all of the age groups to be vaccinated, the children should be required to be vaccinated because they would be safer at school vaccinated than unvaccinated. The ventilation, nothing is as good as outside. Nothing is as good as inside an airplane or inside of the operating room. And so just putting in a better air conditioner to blow the air around isn't the same as being outside or being in an operating room. So the question is, do you want to do something that makes it look like it's safer? Or do you want it and it costs money, but it doesn't make it safer? Or do you want to do something that actually makes it safer? And so that's why I'm saying it gets to be politics and money. And I like to speak on what I know, because going back to, I am so happy that my kids are grown, because homeschool would have been very difficult for me. And I don't think that my children would have reached adulthood because I would have killed them.
That's an excellent answer. There's a lot of parents that are in between, that decision to be able to, decide, do I keep my child home for the sake of their safety and my own, especially if they haven't been vaccinated and they haven't chosen yet to do so? Or do I send my child to school, because of the fact that they should be in school, but is it safe enough for them to go? The parents stand between a rock and a hard place right now, because they don't really know how to, they don't know exactly how this is going to work out for them. A lot of the parents are already in the essential workers position, because a lot of them work for the hospitals, or they're under,
right.
They work in essential positions, and they have no alternative. They cannot be, they cannot be what you call home while they have to drive ambulance, or they have to work in, they can't do that. And it's really hard for them to make that decision. So when it comes down to that, now we're talking about pre-existing conditions is the next thing I wanted to ask you about.
Right, but before you ask me, let me add one other thing. Sorry to interrupt you. If you are to send your children to school, then you should make sure that you're vaccinated, so that if the children bring COVID home, that you don't get it. That's something that you can control. You can't control a lot of other stuff, but that's one thing you could control. So now
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So now, and I apologize for the interruption. I just wanted to stay on the school thing before you switched.
That's okay. Pre-existing conditions has been one of the conversations that I hear people talking about, people that are diabetic, or people that have heart conditions or whatever. Should they have should they be some of the ones that are like, first in line, or they should have been the first ones actually in line, which I thought they were. Okay. Now that, the vaccinations are like,
they're open to everybody now.
Yeah, they're getting it to everybody. Should they look out for any specific things, like, people that have pre-existing conditions? Like, should they look out for something specific, because they don't know? We don't know. Like, if my mother has a heart condition and she gets vaccinated and then she has like a reaction, do I contribute it to the vaccination, or could it be something else going on that I wouldn't even know anything about?
So what I'm about to say is it's going to sound like I'm heartless, but I really am not. So every day, a certain percentage of people die in their sleep. That's just true. If some of those folks got a vaccine that morning, but it was their day to die in their sleep, did they die from the vaccine, or was it their day to die in their sleep? We don't know the answer to that. But what we do know is that if you have a pre-existing disease, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, obesity, and you get COVID, you are more likely to die from COVID than if you don't have the pre-existing diseases. So that's why the people with pre-existing diseases were allowed to go first, is because if they got COVID, they died more often. And the group of folks who died the most often when they got COVID was Black people. And now, was that because of pre-existing diseases, or was it because of systemic racism and the inability to get good care? It's probably a combination of both. But the pre-existing conditions is a reason to get the vaccine as opposed to a reason to not get the vaccine.
Okay, it's a great answer. Thank you very much for that. I don't know if there's anybody else out there in our participants in chat that would like to ask any questions. And there's a lot of things that we still don't know. And it's always great for us to have a doctor to come on and kind of like walk us through these processes, because it's a lot to know and to absorb. I have to say that, there are people that I know that are still waiting for other information to see like what kind of studies have been done, or what kind of data is being, put together, so they'll understand better why I should get this vaccine. Again,
I'll interrupt you, and I apologize, but there is enough information already. And so I went to medical school and take care of patients, and I understand that there's enough information already. There's nothing that someone needs, there's nothing that's coming that isn't already known that could convince you that you need to take it. And the thing is, with the respect to the people that are waiting, people like myself have actually read the papers that Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson & Johnson put out and understand the science behind it and read the statistics and know all of that. Everybody else is getting information secondhand. Even if it's from the CNN, Washington Post, or the New York Times, it's still someone else interpreting that information for you. Whereas the doctors, such as myself, have actually read the paper and made my own decision off of that based on my education. And then secondly, what I want to add is I put my email in the chat. And so if somebody has a question later, just send me an email, say that you heard me talk on Zoom and you have a question. I don't answer emails from people I don't know because I would get too many. But if you just put in the subject, you spoke to me on Zoom, I will answer your email and answer your question. And I put my email in there so anybody can ask me a question anytime they want.
So we could actually say to our listening audience, because we're as far out as maybe in Facebook land as well as on Zoom. And we want to let them know that if you would like to get in touch with the doctor, just put in spoke to you or saw you at PBCIP. Yep. Then he'll know just where he knows you from.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I will answer the question.
That is absolutely excellent. Doctor, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I know you're very busy, and I appreciate you taking the time out to explain to us, the things that we're still in question about, and to make us understand, your position on how you feel about certain things, especially what the political side of it is, because that's highly important to know how doctors are really like balancing themselves between health and politics. Politics is playing a very big part in what's going on right now, and it shouldn't. We're in a pandemic. We're in a pandemic. We should be looking at how to get people healthy. Normal is not going to ever happen. We're going to have to find a regular now that's going to lead up to whatever the new normal will be. But normal will never be normal again, because we've been through this. And, losing somewhere close to 600,000 people in a year is one of the highest numbers I think that this country or this world has ever seen, that I know of. I know it's been millions of people that was lost in various other things, but it took a few years for that to happen, Black Plague and all of those other things. But, in our generation, in our time, to see this many people die in such a short amount of time has been really overwhelming. We thank you for all of the service that you have provided to every person that has come under you. And we thank all of those members of the medical field that risk their lives on a day-to-day basis to save others.
Right, and I appreciate that, but let's not forget the person who cleaned the room out, because if no one cleaned the room, I can't put the next patient in there. And so their job was just as important as mine. I just got more training.
Exactly.
But I if once I discharge a patient, I can't put another patient in the room till someone cleans the room. When I'm doing 83 days in a row, I need the cafeteria to be open so I can get something to eat. So it's important to thank the doctors and the nurses, and we appreciate that. But don't forget all those other people that keep the hospital open.
Oh, without a doubt, doctor. I definitely thank them. I mean, I had a Heroes Day in November, and COVID kind of like made it, less than what I wanted it to be. But that was my whole point, was to bring out all the essential workers. Started from the cleaning people. That's how essential workers even began to be noticed. Because if the people didn't clean, then people like you, me, and anybody else could not go anywhere. Food stores.
Because everything we use is disposable.
Disposable.
Everything gets thrown away. I'll just give you an example. You know those little purple exam gloves that you might buy at Amazon so you can wear when you go shopping? You know how many gloves we use every day in the hospital of those? 84,000.
Wow. Per day?
84,000. And they all get thrown in the garbage. And who takes the garbage out?
Yeah.
I don't take the garbage out.
Right.
Wow. That's crazy.
So when you think about stuff, that's why we ran out of some stuff, because everybody else was buying all of this stuff and the hospitals were running out.
Right.
Not only did I need the gloves and the mask, the person cleaning the room needed the gloves and the mask.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Wow.
So you're absolutely right about that. I appreciate that part of it as well. Just to make sure that, yes, we appreciate everybody that has been through this. This has been a hard pill to swallow, and we're still trying to swallow it. So, but we're better than we were. We're a lot better than we were.
And then I think there's one last question that just came in the chat. It's a quick answer. It says, is the nasal swab more effective than the mouth swab in diagnosing? It's not that it's more effective. The nasal swab is not going to be falsely negative as many times or falsely positive. So that means it's more accurate, but not necessarily more effective. So if you really need to know if you have COVID, we do the nasal one. The one in the mouth comes back quicker and it's easier for the patient, but we always follow that up with one in the nose just to make sure.
Okay. And when does Cooper do testing, like every day?
We test every day.
Okay, that's cool. That's really good to know. Also, do they have information online where people can go online, and do they have to like sign up or anything like that, or can they just go?
It's always better to make an appointment because there's two lines. There's the long line where there's no appointment, and there's the short line where there's an appointment.
Right.
Okay.
And at the Kroc Center, they give out the vaccine. And at the Kroc Center, to get the vaccine, you have to be a Camden resident because Cooper wanted to look out for Camden people first since we're in Camden.
Oh, wow. So they have to bring some type of ID to show that they are
we
Camden
don't
residents?
check it anymore, but we sort of check it on the website and on the phone. We ask and we trust that people are telling the truth. But we don't make you bring like a bill that says your address. But we're trying to say that it's only for people from Camden.
Okay.
Because when we first opened it up, people were coming from the county getting the shot. Because the people in the county had better transportation and were showing up at the Kroc Center first. So we got permission from the governor to limit it. We were the first place in the state to be able to limit the vaccine to a certain population because we wanted to make sure that the Camden residents had access to the vaccine.
That's excellent. That's really, really great. Because, that was one of the things that they were talking about, how many of the smaller communities and communities of color didn't have access to vaccine, they didn't have access to getting the testing, it was almost like, okay, you guys just wait. We'll get to you when we get to you.
Right.
And that just wasn't comfortable. It wasn't comfortable at all. So testing is highly still important, even though you may be vaccinated or you're not vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, I know it's highly important, but that's highly important still, right?
Right. But everybody should get vaccinated. It really is safe. I my daughter, who's a psychologist, but she's still my baby because she's my daughter. I got her vaccinated because a psychologist is an essential worker and she was vaccinated early. And I wouldn't have let my baby girl get the vaccine if I didn't think it was safe.
Right.
You might think that I would get my own vaccine because I'm just a tough guy or something, but but dad isn't going to let his daughter get something unless he thinks it's safe.
Well, that right there, that's where a parent comes in at.
There you go.
Parents, you want to do whatever you got to do to make sure that yours is safe, makes it safe for yours so that, you can say, okay, I did the right thing for my child.
Yep.
And, that's the hard pill to swallow because this is all brand new to us. We've never done this before. Like we've all got the little marks on our arm from vaccinations that we got when we were kids. And that was the last time that we were all vaccinated, right? Basically all around the same time.
Yep.
But now, people are complaining about vaccines causing autism and vaccines doing this and that and whatever. And
right. The person who wrote the study that said that vaccines caused autism falsified the data, got fired from his job, has never been able to get another job because that's not true. But then Hollywood person gets on TV and says it's true and everybody wants to believe it. But he lied about the data and got fired and has never been able to get another job.
Wow. That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. Well, so we are coming close.
I'm serious about the email. If any of your people who you spread this to, just tell them to put that in the subject line and I'll answer the email within 24 hours. Because, sometimes everybody doesn't get asked a question. Sometimes you think of a question after. Sometimes you're shy and you don't want to ask one, but I'll answer them.
If you guys didn't see it in the chat, it's in the chat. It's porter-john@cooperhealth.edu.
Yep.
So if you put that in there and you say PBCIP, you sent me, I saw you on PBCIP on one of the things and, he'll know that it was you because he knew he was there. Then he can respond to you. Okay.
Yep.
So I want to just give a couple of more shout outs. And Doctor, thank you so very much for this time. We are more than likely going to bring you back sometime, maybe in September, to just
anytime.
Go over where we are.
Just let me make it on my schedule and I'll show up on time like I did tonight.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody have a good night.
All right, you too. I just want to just make a correction. The rent equity tenants rights is May 1st, this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. in the Learning Garden right next door to Donkey's. So I just want to make sure you have the right information, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. If you are a renter, you should come out to get this information. It's going to be highly important for you. That's this Saturday, May 1st, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. right in our Learning Garden. Also on May 22nd, Parkside United Methodist will be doing COVID vaccinations as well as COVID testing and HIV testing. So that's on May 22nd. Flyers will go out. We will be posted in various places between Facebook, eBlast, and other things so that everybody will have the information. I just want to thank all of our guests tonight for coming out and giving us really, really, really informative information, the kind of stuff that we all need to know. I want to thank Richard. I want to thank Angela. I thank you guys so much for making it so easy for us to really understand what's going on. I thank all of our visitors. I thank Joey Rodriguez from American Water, our Sarah Drummond, our Miosha Lawrence, Miss Naomi, Cookie. You know, I want to just thank everyone that had been on our Zoom tonight. And I look forward to seeing you on May 26th, which is our next Zoom. Now, our next Zoom is going to be on 1 year later, the verdict of George Floyd. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be very interesting because we really need to let this thing out of our system and to find out where are we now 1 year later after this has happened. We also want to make sure that, you know, everyone knows about all of the other things that's coming up, the things that I announced earlier. So if you missed it, just go back over our Zoom at www.pbcip.org and look for our meeting, and you will find the information that we talked about tonight. So I just want to thank you for being a great audience, and I thank you for always being there. Parkside, I look forward to seeing you on the 15th. We're going to clean up our city, our neighborhoods one more time, 2 more times actually, but the 15th is our next one from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we'll be putting flyers out for that as well. So in the meantime, enjoy the rest of this evening. It's been a beautiful day. The sun is setting. It's still warm out. Go sit out. Go take a walk around the block or something. Enjoy your night and enjoy each other and have a good time doing just that. All right. Peace and blessings to everybody. Until next time. Bye-bye.